Last week, we celebrated the 2-year anniversary of Obamacare, and today the Supreme Court is beginning to take up arguments on Obama's health care program. In fact, the reason I use Obamacare is now the Democrats are fighting back on the term and empowering it. They're even asking for people to send in things like, I like Obamacare because. First of all, hallelujah. Now, I've got my own issues with the health care plan that President Obama passed. I think that it still favors private insurance way too much. It didn't have the public option in it. I don't like the mandates, et cetera. But as a matter of politics, as an outside observer, should Democrats fight back and protect their own program? Of course they should. And the fact that they now realize that is amazing to me. Like, 2 years later, they're like, oh, right, we should fight back. That's a good point. I hadn't thought of that. So now, at the same time, the Republicans told us that this was going to destroy our country, right? Since Obamacare has been passed, 25 times the Republicans have tried to either repeal it or defund it, okay? And remember what they said at the time, and I love these quotes. Representative John Boehner said on March 20th of 2010 that it would be Armageddon if it passed, and that the law would, quote, ruin our country. You know what's happened since it's passed? Country in utter ruins. Did you notice the nuke that went off? We're screwed. Oh, that didn't happen? Oh, that's really weird. Well, let's keep it going. Rick Santorum said on October 23rd of 2010, he said that if passed, this bill would, quote, destroy our country in the next year or so. Well, let me see, has it been a year? Yeah, it's been a little longer than a year. That's a year and a half ago. Okay, so what happened? Is the country destroyed? Has everybody moved to Canada? What's happening? I mean, look, I point these out because look at how absurd these guys are. Look at how ridiculous these guys are. The over-the-top attacks against President Obama, the Democrats, et cetera. But let me just keep going here. Michele Bachmann said in 2009, no new health insurance policies can be written once this federal plan comes into effect. I believe health insurance policies have been written since the law went into effect. Now, look, most of the law goes into effect in 2014, but there's been huge chunks that have already gone into effect. Did she really believe that there wouldn't be a single health insurance policy written? I mean, how can you say that? You're going to be disproven immediately as soon as it passes. But again, they're not attached to facts, so they don't care. Senator Tom Coburn, more over the top, quote, there will be no insurance industry left in 3 years. That was said in October of 2010. So to be fair to Senator Coburn, he's got a little over a year left. Okay, and then there will be no health insurance industry. Even though this healthcare reform actually gave more power to the healthcare industry. That was my problem with it. We have no public option. We have no single payer. We have no expanded Medicare. In fact, we're mandated to buy from private insurance. So how could Bachmann and Coburn be right? They're saying the exact opposite of what's reality. Well, that's because they're Republicans. That's what they do on a daily basis. But it gets worse. Glenn Beck said, this is the end of prosperity in America forever. The end of America as you know it. He said that in 2009. Here we are in 2012. They haven't renamed the country yet. But I know it must be the end of America as we know it because healthcare passed and at some point 30 million Americans will be covered, which really, really sucks for rich people because it might cost them a nickel and a dime. How could they cover anybody that isn't rich? God, oh, it's the end of America as we know it and love it. But we're not done yet. It's actually getting more over the top as we go. Representative Louis Gohmert, of course, here comes Gohmert, said in July of 2009, I would hate to think that among 5 women, one of them is going to die because we go to socialized care. No, but this is why I love Louis, because why did he pick women? Who knows? How did he think that 1 out of 5 of them would just suddenly drop dead? Who knows? Who knows what goes on in Gohmert's head? But he's like, no, you passed the law. 1 out of 5, dead. They're going to die, D-I-E, die. Okay, finally, we go to Representative Paul Brown of Georgia, and he might actually be right because he said, quote, a lot of people are going to die. Well, that was back in 2009, and it turns out he was the only one that was right. Since 2009, a lot of people have died. Not related to health care, but they have died. So Paul Brown would come back and go, see, I knew it. I knew people were going to die. Genius. Look, whether you think health care reform is the right thing or not, and I've got my, beefs with it, no question about it. I think it's got a lot of problems. But it's absurd to say any of these things. And that's what the Republicans do. And the reason that they do it is because the mainstream media goes along with it and says, well, if the Republicans say this and the Democrats say this, the answer must be in the middle. So it incentivizes Republicans to go further and further right. And they know the Democrats don't go further left. They've never gone further left in the last 30 years. All they do is keep getting dragged to the right, so the middle keeps moving. So that's why they go so over the top, because they know that they can move the middle. And you know what? If they hadn't done these things, maybe we would have had a decent healthcare reform package that actually gave us a public option. But since they dragged the debate so far to the right, President Obama by the end was bragging that he had done the Republican idea of the mandates, which then the Republicans immediately turned around and said, how dare you adopt our idea? It's unconstitutional and we'll see you in the Supreme Court. And that's exactly where we are today, where the Supreme Court is considering the case.